you're a high school kid trying to decide where you want to go to college, does a team that ever is number one or never gets to number one during a season, does that ever play into it? I mean, national championships and conference championships, all that does, certainly, but you can't do a lot of that without being ranked.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think all those things you said, they come at the end of the year. They don't come in the middle of the year. So, for me, I think, I mean, it's different for every kid, but I think you look at what happens at the end of the year rather than at the middle or the beginning of the year.
Sam, how do you keep pressure that Heisman candidates have thrust on them or that they put on themselves because their name is mentioned so prominently?
You really can't worry about it. I mean, just worry about going out, playing within the system, playing normal game, and just helping your team win. I don't think you can worry about any individual awards. It's all about the team, and, you know, we got to go to Baylor and win this week.
There was one play the other night where the guy really bit the defensive back and just left wide open pass. Could you talk about that? What, did you see it on a previous play that he did something or what?
I think it's something we saw in film that we knew they were going to kind of play that route hard, and we got it up early and, you know, gave a little pump fake in the corner. Pretty much did exactly what we thought he would, and Wick ran right by him, so worked kind of to perfection.
Sam, I have no idea how many times you were probably asked, you know, what can you do to improve on last year before the season started? But through 4 games, where do you think you've improved over last year?
You know, I just feel it's kind of hard to explain, but just, I don't know, my emotions during the game, I feel, you know, a lot more together when things aren't going right, or maybe when we've had a couple incompletions or a couple plays that haven't gone the way that we planned. I just feel like I'm a lot more in control and a lot more calm. I don't get rattled as much as I did last year. I feel like that's something I really have improved on since last year.
What were some instances where you did get rattled last year?
I think there were a couple. Colorado, Iowa State. I felt like I kind of got out of my game, didn't play the way I should have. Then in the bowl game, I think early, kind of got out of my comfort zone.
Whether it was fair or not, people tried. I think last year tried to make it out like you used Joaquin kind of as a safety blanket, but that criticism isn't there this year. I mean, you really seem to be spreading the ball out to a lot more players. Is that an area where you think you've improved?
Definitely. I think the more comfortable I've got in this offense, the more comfortable I am going through, you know, the entire read progression and not just stopping at maybe the second or third read. I can get all the way down to maybe a fourth or fifth guy. And, you know, I think with as many weapons as we have, the ability to go through a read and find the guy who is open, you know, it just allows us to make more plays.
How many seconds do you have to get to a fifth read?
Quite a few. You got to have some time, and, you know, it all starts up front in our offensive line. They've done a great job this year keeping me protected, and I mean, they're pretty much the whole reason this offense ticks. Without them, you know, we wouldn't be anywhere.
Evan Woods could read them that quickly. That's fast.
Even with you talking about your offensive line, TCU was able to get to you more than up to this point you'd been hitting this year. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that even in max protect they were able to get through sometimes.
A couple times, but, you know, a couple of those hits weren't on the offensive line. A couple of those hits were on me, knowing that I was hot and probably squeezing the ball a little too long, just trying to find an open receiver, just throwing it away. So, I mean, I thought our offensive line actually played pretty well. I mean, a lot of those hits weren't on them.
Sam, to me in the press box, it looked like, especially in the first quarter, TCU was just really doing everything possible to stop the run, and there were receivers running wide open. Did you guys see that as well?
Yeah, I think so. Something that we kind of knew they were going to do before the game. We knew they were going to come in and put 8 guys in the box and try to man us up outside. And, you know, I think that's the reason we had, you know, quite a bit of success in the passing game in the first quarter, is because they tried to play man outside, and our receivers did a great job of getting open.
Did you ever envision a day when you have 202 yards passing in the first quarter?
No.
Like to see that continue throughout the game?
I mean, why not?
Sam, is this a different mindset for you guys going on the road because it's a conference game as opposed to what it was like going to Washington, or did you get a lot out of that game?
I think it's the same mindset. I mean, we're going on the road. We know that that's an area that we've talked about being better at for the past year now, and we had our first opportunity to do it at Washington. I felt like we played well, but we've got to continue that and go down to Waco and take care of business.
What's your thoughts on Taylor's defense? Anything in particular that's unique?
It's kind of early in the week. I haven't really got to watch a lot of film on him. We just kind of talked about, some of their concepts yesterday, but we'll get into that this week and figure out what they're going to try to do to stop us.
Many had a big game, first game. Ryan broke a couple out of that position against Washington. Is there anything inherent in that particular position that makes it hard for a defense to cover a guy coming out of that slot?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that they've got a safety or a backer on the slot position instead of a corner sometimes, that might have an effect on it, but I couldn't really tell you.
Do you guys get excited more so for a conference game? Is there something, any more sizzle when conference play starts or not?
It's hard to say, but obviously when conference comes, you got to be ready because, conference, it's pretty much a big deal. You got to win all your games, especially in the South this year, if you want a chance to play for the Big 12 championship. So once conference play starts, I wouldn't say it's any different than a non-conference game and the way we prepare, but we realize there kind of is a sense of urgency.
Sam, it's almost scary how similar this situation is to where you guys were last year. You were a top 5 team, last game before Texas, opening conference on the road, and then you guys play the way you did at Colorado. So what do you guys take away from that game that you're going to try and apply this week at Baylor? We really haven't talked much about Colorado, and we're probably not going to talk about that. This is a new team. It's a different year. We're going to go out there and prepare the way we have the first 4 weeks, take what we learned at Washington, how we prepared for that road game, and try to apply that.
Sam, any conversation among the players about the #1 ranking?
Not really. I've heard very little about it in the locker room, really.
Do you think, Bob has said at other times this season that he likes the way you guys practice, he likes the way you go about things. Typically when people ask you about a #1 ranking, the response is, well, we're not going to let it get to our heads. Could that actually improve your focus? You guys have more to protect. There's more on the line now.
I think you can look at it both ways. You could look at it in that way that, you got more to protect, but then you could look at it that if you're thinking about it all the time, you're going to go out and play conservative, trying to protect it. So I think it's just a matter of how you look at it.
Was it surprising to you that it seemed like Manny was open every time you looked at him? And do you think he's going to get a little more attention?
Yeah, I thought Manny did a great job just in some of the routes he ran, getting open, finding space. But it really did seem like he was open about every time I looked at him Saturday.
Have you seen him develop more and more in the past year or so towards the end of last year?
Definitely. He came on late last year and played great, and then he's just kind of continued that into this year. And he worked really hard in the off season, in the summer and the spring, and I think it's paid off because he's playing great football right now.
Can you pinpoint the difference in him and what's he doing better?
I think he's bigger. I don't know. There were a couple routes in that game the other night where he just kind of forced defenders to get off of him, whereas maybe a couple years ago he gets jammed at the line. But this year, he has no problem getting off.
Would one of those been that one down the left sideline?
Yeah.
What's more fun as a quarterback, watching a guy run underneath a pass like the first one he had, or throwing him a little dump screen and watching him just kind of park the defense?
It's probably easier throwing a little dump screen and then watching, but I don't know. They're both exciting to watch.